Richard Kane rushed through the crowded halls of Luna Station, his expensive shoes clicking against the metal floor. Sweat formed on his forehead, despite the cool air that flowed through the massive space station. The meeting with the Galactic Trade Consortium had run 3 hours longer than planned, and now he was going to miss the last transport to Earth. The station buzzed with activity around him. Humans in business suits walked alongside tall blue, aliens from the Centauri system. Small robot cleaners rolled between the crowds, their sensors beeping softly. Holographic advertisements floated in the air, showing products from dozens of different worlds. The smell of exotic foods drifted. From the restaurant level below, Richard checked his watch again. The transport would leave in 15 minutes, and he still had to get through security. His assistant had called twice already, reminding him about the board meeting tomorrow morning. Kane Dynamics was about to announce their biggest breakthrough, yet, and Richard could not afford to be late. He pulled his communication device from his jacket and spoke quickly into it. "This is Kane. I need the transport held for 10 minutes. Yes, I know the schedule. Just do it." He ended the call and pushed through a group of tourists, taking pictures with a friendly alien merchant. Behind him, forgotten on the bench where he had been sitting during his last phone call, sat a titanium briefcase. The case looked ordinary from the outside, but inside it held something that could change the future of human space travel. Richard had been so focused on making his transport that he never looked back. Maya Rodriguez wiped down another table in the Cosmic Diner, her third job of the day. The diner sat on the lower level of Luna Station, where the rent was cheaper and the customers were mostly workers and travelers looking for a quick meal. The walls were covered with pictures of Earth and other human colonies. Old music from the 2080s played softly in the background. She was 17 years old but looked older. Long hours of work had given her strong hands and tired eyes. Her black hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and her uniform was clean but showed signs of many washings. She moved quickly between tables, serving food to humans and aliens alike. Maya had been working since she was 14. Her mother was sick back on Earth, and the medical bills were enormous. Her younger brother Carlos was only 12, too young to work. Every credit Maya earned went toward keeping her family alive and giving Carlos a chance at a better life. The diner was almost empty now. The evening rush had ended, and only a few late travelers remained. Maya's shift would end in 2 hours, and then she would catch a few hours of sleep before starting her morning job at the shipping docks. Sleep was a luxury she could not afford much of. An old man in the corner booth was reading news reports on his tablet. The headlines talked about new trade agreements between Earth and the Andromedan colonies. Maya had always dreamed of working on those kinds of projects. She wanted to be an engineer, to build the ships that carried people between the stars. But dreams cost money, and money was something her family did not have. She finished cleaning the last table and walked toward the storage room to get her mop. The cleaning robots handled most of the work, but the diner was old and some areas needed to be cleaned by hand. As she walked past the windows that looked out onto the main station corridor, something caught her eye. On a bench across the hall sat a briefcase. Maya had seen hundreds of people walk past that bench during her shift, but no one had been sitting there for at least an hour. The briefcase was made of some kind of metal that reflected the station lights. It looked expensive and important. Maya stopped mopping and watched the bench. Maybe the owner would come back. She waited for 20 minutes, but no one came. The station was getting quieter as the evening went on. Soon the main lights would dim for the night cycle. She walked outside the diner and approached the bench. The briefcase was heavier than it looked. A small electronic lock glowed red on the front, but there was no name or address anywhere on the outside. Maya looked around, but the corridor was empty except for a security guard walking his rounds. In the distance, back in the diner, Maya set the briefcase behind the counter. Her boss, Mr. Chen, was in the kitchen finishing the evening cleanup. He was a good man who had given Maya the job when she desperately needed it, but he would tell her to turn the briefcase over to station security. That was the right thing to do, but Maya had learned not to trust authority figures completely. Too many times lost items disappeared into bureaucratic systems and never found their way back to their owners. Maya decided to wait until morning. If someone came looking for the briefcase, she would return it immediately. If not, she would take it to security herself. She tucked it safely away and continued her cleaning. 2 hours later, as Maya was leaving the diner, she passed the bench again. She wondered who had lost the briefcase and whether they had noticed yet. The weight of it suggested it contained something valuable. Maybe documents or computer equipment, or even money. The thought of money made Maya's stomach twist. Her mother's. Medicine cost more each month and Carlos needed new clothes for school. Maya sent home every credit she could spare, but it was never enough. She pushed the thought away. The briefcase belonged to someone else, and that was the end of it. As she walked toward her small room in the station's residential section, Maya did not know that the briefcase contained enough money to solve all her family's problems. She also did not know that it held something far more valuable than money. Inside that case were the plans for a device that could let humans communicate instantly across the galaxy. A technology that would change everything. Tomorrow would bring choices that Maya could never have imagined. But tonight, she was just a tired girl walking home after another long day of work, carrying with her the kind of integrity that would soon make her famous throughout the galaxy. Maya woke up after only 3 hours of sleep. Her alarm buzzed loudly in the small room she shared with 2 other station workers. The other girls were still sleeping, so Maya dressed quietly in the dark. Her shift at the shipping docks started in 30 minutes. As she walked through the station corridors, Maya thought about the briefcase. She had hidden it under her bed, wrapped in an old blanket. All night she had wondered who it belonged to and what was inside. The lock looked complicated, like the kind used on important government documents. The shipping docks were busy even, at this early hour. Cargo ships arrived constantly, bringing supplies from Earth and the outer colonies. Maya's job was to scan packages and update the computer systems. It was boring work, but it paid well enough to help support her family. Her supervisor, Janet Morrison, was a tough woman who had worked the docks for 20 years. She noticed that Maya seemed distracted during the morning shift. "You okay, kid?" Janet asked during their break. "You look like you didn't sleep much." Maya trusted Janet more than most people. The older woman had always been fair with her and never asked too many questions about Maya's family situation. "I found something last night," Maya said carefully. "A briefcase. Someone left it on a bench near the diner." Janet raised an eyebrow. "Did you turn it into security?" "Not yet. I want to try to find the owner myself first." "Maya, that's not smart. If it's valuable, you could get in trouble for keeping it. Station security has procedures for this kind of thing." Maya nodded, but she had made up her mind. After her shift ended, she would start looking for the briefcase's owner. She had 6 hours before she needed to be back at the diner. Maya started her search at the information desk on the main level. The clerk, a bored-looking young man, barely looked up from his computer screen. "Lost and found is on level 7, he said without interest. "I'm not looking for lost and found," Maya explained. "I found something and I want to return it to the owner." The clerk finally looked at her. "What kind of something?" "A briefcase. Metal, expensive looking. Someone left it on bench near the Cosmic Diner yesterday evening." The clerk typed something into his computer. "No one has reported a missing briefcase. You should turn it into security." Maya thanked him and walked away. She decided to try a different approach. The diner was near the business section of the station, where important meetings took place. Maybe someone there had seen the briefcase's owner. The business section was much fancier than the areas where Maya usually worked. The floors were polished, stone instead of metal, and the walls displayed expensive art from different worlds. Well-dressed humans and aliens walked between offices and meeting rooms. Maya felt out of place in her work clothes, but she approached the reception desk of one of the larger offices. The woman behind the desk looked at Maya with obvious disapproval. "Can I help you?" she asked in a cold voice. Maya explained about the briefcase. The receptionist's expression changed when she heard the description. "Metal briefcase, you said? Titanium?" "I think so. It was very heavy and had an electronic lock." The receptionist made a phone call, speaking quietly into her headset. After a few minutes, she hung up and looked at Maya with new interest. "Someone will be down to speak with you. Please wait over there." Maya sat in an uncomfortable chair for 20 minutes before a security guard appeared. He was tall and muscular, wearing the dark uniform of Luna Station security. His name tag read Commander J. Sullivan. "You're the girl who found the briefcase?" he asked. Maya nodded. "I work at the Cosmic Diner. I found it on a bench yesterday evening." Commander Sullivan studied her carefully. His eyes were sharp and intelligent, like he was trying to read her thoughts. "Where's the briefcase now?" "Safe," Maya said. "I wanted to find the owner before turning it in." "Why?" The question surprised Maya. "Because it's the right thing to do." Sullivan sat down across from her. "Do you know what was in that briefcase?" "No, it's locked. But you could have tried to open it, or sold it. That's a valuable case, probably worth more than you make in a year." Maya felt her face get warm. "I don't steal things. A lot of people would have just kept it and disappeared." "Why didn't you?" Maya thought about her grandmother, who had raised her until she was 10. Her grandmother always said that your character was shown by what you did when no one was watching. "Because it doesn't belong to me," Maya said simply. Sullivan leaned back in his chair. "The briefcase belongs to Richard Kane. Do you know who that is?" Maya shook her head. "He's one of the richest men in human space. Owns Kane Dynamics, the company that builds communication systems for the colonies. He was here yesterday for a meeting with the Trade Consortium." Maya felt her heart sink. A man that rich probably wouldn't even notice the money in the briefcase. To him it was probably nothing. To her family it could mean everything. "We've been looking for that briefcase since last night," Sullivan continued. "Kane's people called us in a panic. They said it contained important documents." "What kind of documents?" Sullivan hesitated. "The kind that could change how humans do business in the galaxy. The kind that other species would pay a lot of money to get their hands on." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "Are you saying I'm in danger?" "Possibly. Word travels fast on a space station. If the wrong people find out that a teenage girl has Kane's briefcase, they might try to take it from you." As if to prove his point, Sullivan's communication device beeped urgently. He answered it quickly, speaking in code words that Maya didn't understand. When he finished the call, his expression was grim. "We need to get that briefcase now," he said. "There are Zephyrian traders asking questions about it. They arrived on the station 2 hours ago claiming they have business with Kane." Maya had heard of Zephyrians. They were known throughout the galaxy as clever traders who always looked for ways to profit from other people's mistakes. "What do they want with the briefcase?" "Nothing good," Sullivan said. "Can you take me to it?" Maya nodded, though her hands were shaking. She had thought returning the briefcase would be simple. Now it seemed like she had stumbled into something much bigger and more dangerous than she had ever imagined. Maya led Commander Sullivan through the station's residential section. Her heart pounded as they walked past other workers heading to their shifts. She kept looking over her shoulder, expecting to see the Zephyrian traders following them. "Stay calm," Sullivan said quietly. "Act normal. We don't want to draw attention." They reached Maya's building, a tall block of small apartments where station workers lived. The hallways were narrow and the walls needed paint, but it was clean and safe. Maya's room was on the 15th floor. Maya's roommates had left for work hours ago. She pulled the briefcase from under her bed and unwrapped it carefully. In the daylight coming through the small window, the titanium surface gleamed like silver. Sullivan examined the case closely. "This is definitely Kane's. See this mark here?" He pointed to a small logo near the handle. "That's the Kane Dynamics symbol." "What happens now?" Maya asked. "We contact Kane and arrange a meeting, but first we need to make sure you're safe. The Zephyrians have been asking questions about a human girl who works at the Cosmic Diner." Maya felt cold fear creep up her spine. "How do they know about me?" "Someone must have seen you with the briefcase." Zephyrians pay well for information. Sullivan made a call on his secure communication device. He spoke for several minutes in the official language that security officers used. When he finished, he looked serious. "Kane is on his way back to the station. He'll be here in 3 hours. Until then, you're coming with me to security headquarters. It's the safest place on the station. Maya packed a small bag with her few belongings. As they left the building, she noticed two tall figures in dark robes standing near the entrance. Their faces were hidden, but she could see their eyes watching her. "Zephyrians," Sullivan whispered. "Walk normally. Don't look back." They made it to the transport lift without incident, but Maya could feel the aliens' eyes on her the entire time. The lift carried them up to the security section of the station, where armed guards stood at every entrance. Sullivan's office was small, but comfortable. The walls were covered with pictures of Earth and various space stations. Maya sat in a chair across from his desk while Sullivan made more phone calls. "Kane will meet us in conference room A," Sullivan said when he finished. "He's bringing his legal team and some security people. This is going to be a formal meeting." Maya felt nervous. She had never met anyone as important as Richard Kane. What if he didn't believe her story? What if he thought she was trying to steal from him? "Commander Sullivan," Maya said quietly. "What if Mr. Kane thinks I'm lying? What if he thinks I looked inside the briefcase?" Sullivan smiled for the first time since they had met. "Maya, I've been doing this job for 15 years. I can tell when someone is lying. You're the most honest person I've met in a long time. Kane will see that too." 2 hours later, Maya sat in conference room A, staring at the polished table and trying not to fidget. The room was bigger than her entire apartment. Large windows looked out at the stars and the walls displayed screens showing different parts of the station. The door opened and Richard Kane walked in. Maya recognized him immediately from news reports. He was shorter than she expected, with gray hair and tired eyes. He wore an expensive suit that probably cost more than Maya made in a year. Behind Kane came 3 other people: a woman in a business suit carrying a tablet, a man who looked like a bodyguard, and another security officer. They all sat down across from Maya and Sullivan. Kane stared at Maya for a long moment. "You're the girl who found my briefcase?" "Yes, sir," Maya said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Where did you find it?" Maya explained about finding the briefcase on the bench and bringing it back to the diner. She told him about her decision to look for the owner instead of turning it in to Lost and Found. Kane listened without interrupting. When Maya finished, he was quiet for several minutes. "Do you know what was in that briefcase?" Kane asked finally. "Commander," Sullivan said, "it had important documents. I never tried to open it." Kane's lawyer leaned forward. "The briefcase contains 100,000 credits in quantum currency, along with prototype plans for our new faster-than-light communication system." "Why didn't you take the money?" Maya felt her face get warm. "Because it wasn't mine. Your family is poor, isn't it?" the lawyer continued. "Your mother is sick. Your brother needs clothes for school. That money could have solved all your problems." Maya looked down at her hands. "My grandmother always told me that what you do when no one is watching shows who you really are. The money might have helped my family, but it would have made me a thief." Kane leaned back in his chair. "Your grandmother sounds like a wise woman." "She was. She died when I was 10, but I still try to make her proud." Kane was quiet again. Maya could see him thinking, weighing her words. "Mr. Kane," Maya said suddenly, "I know you probably think I'm just some poor girl looking for a reward, but I'm not. I just wanted to do the right thing." Kane's expression softened. "Maya, in my business, I deal with people who would sell their own mothers for the right price. I've forgotten what it's like to meet someone who does the right thing just because it's right." The door to the conference room burst open. A station security officer rushed in and whispered something urgently to Sullivan. Sullivan's face went pale. "The Zephyrians have filed a legal claim on the briefcase," Sullivan announced. "They're saying it contains stolen Zephyrian technology. They want a hearing with the station arbitrator in 1 hour." Kane slammed his fist on the table. "That's ridiculous. Everything in that briefcase was developed by my company." "Sir," the security officer said, "they have 3 witnesses who claim they saw the briefcase being taken from their ship." Maya felt sick. She looked at Kane, whose face had turned red with anger. "This is exactly what they do," Kane said. "They find someone vulnerable and try to take advantage." They think because Maya is young and poor, she won't fight back. Maya stood up slowly. Mr. Kane, I don't know much about Zephyrian law or galactic trade, but I know what I saw. I found that briefcase on a bench where someone had forgotten it. No one stole it from anybody. Kane looked at Maya with new respect. Are you willing to testify at the hearing? Maya nodded, though her hands were shaking. I'll tell the truth. Good, Kane said, because in 1 hour we're going to show those Zephyrians that they picked the wrong human to mess with. The station arbitration chamber was packed with people. Maya had never seen so many different species in one room. Humans sat next to blue-skinned Centaurians, while tall Andromedans watched from the back rows. The air was thick with tension, and the smell of different alien atmospheres. Maya sat at a long table next to Richard Kane and his lawyers. Across from them, 3 Zephyrian traders wore their traditional dark robes. Their faces were pale and sharp, with eyes that seemed to see everything. Maya tried not to stare, but she had never been this close to Zephyrians before. Station arbitrator Helen Park entered the chamber. She was a middle-aged human woman with gray hair and a stern expression. Maya knew that Arbitrator Park was famous throughout the galaxy for being fair but tough. Her decisions were respected by all species. This hearing will determine the rightful ownership of one briefcase and its contents, Arbitrator Park announced. The Zephyrian delegation claims the briefcase was stolen from their ship. Mr. Kane claims it belongs to him. The girl Maya Rodriguez claims she found it abandoned on a station bench. The lead Zephyrian trader stood up. His name was Vex, and he spoke with a smooth voice that made Maya feel uncomfortable. Honored arbitrator, Vex said, this briefcase was taken from our ship 3 days ago. We have witnesses who saw a human girl near our docking bay. We believe this Maya Rodriguez is part of a conspiracy to steal our technology. Maya felt her face burn with anger. She started to stand up, but Kane put a gentle hand on her arm. Let him finish, Kane whispered. Then we'll show everyone what liars they are. Vex continued his speech, claiming that the briefcase contained Zephyrian communication technology that was worth millions of credits. He showed the arbitrator documents that looked official but were covered in alien writing that Maya couldn't read. These documents prove our ownership, Vex said. We demand the return of our property and compensation for our losses. Arbitrator Park studied the documents carefully. Mr. Kane, how do you respond to these claims? Kane stood up slowly. Maya could see that he was angry, but his voice was calm and controlled. Honored arbitrator, every word the Zephyrians have spoken is a lie. That briefcase belongs to me. It contains my company's research and my personal funds. I can prove this. Kane presented his own documents to the arbitrator. Maya watched as Arbitrator Park compared the 2 sets of papers. Mr. Kane, the arbitrator said, your documents show that you own a briefcase matching this description. However, the Zephyrian documents appear to be equally valid. This case comes down to the testimony of witnesses. Maya's heart sank. She realized that this might come down to her word against the Zephyrians. Vex called his first witness, another Zephyrian named Kree. Kree swore that he had seen Maya near their ship, carrying a briefcase. He spoke with confidence, describing Maya's appearance and clothing in perfect detail. Maya knew this was impossible. She had never been near the Zephyrian docking bay. But Kree's testimony sounded believable, and she could see some people in the audience nodding their heads. The second Zephyrian witness told a similar story, then the third. Each one claimed to have seen Maya stealing the briefcase from their ship. Maya felt sick to her stomach. Maya Rodriguez, Arbitrator Park called. Please tell us your version of events. Maya stood up on shaking legs. The chamber was completely quiet. She could feel hundreds of eyes watching her. I found the briefcase yesterday evening, Maya began. Her voice was so quiet that the arbitrator asked her to speak louder. I found the briefcase on a bench near the Cosmic Diner where I work, Maya said again, her voice stronger now. It had been sitting there for at least an hour. No one was around. I brought it inside and decided to look for the owner. Why didn't you turn it in to Lost and Found? Arbitrator Park asked. Maya thought about this question. She knew her answer would sound strange to people who didn't understand her life. Because I wanted to make sure it got back to the right person, Maya said. Sometimes things get lost in the system. I thought if I could find the owner myself, I could return it directly. But you could have kept it, the arbitrator pointed out. You could have taken the money inside and no one would have known. Maya looked out at the crowd. She saw humans and aliens all watching her, waiting for her answer. My grandmother raised me until I was 10, Maya said. She always told me that your character is what you do when no one is watching. She said that doing the right thing isn't about getting a reward, it's about being the kind of person you want to be. Maya paused, gathering her courage for what she wanted to say next. I work 3 jobs to support my family. My mother is sick and my brother needs clothes for school. The money in that briefcase could have solved all our problems, but taking it would have made me a thief. I'd rather be poor and honest than rich and dishonest. The chamber was completely silent. Maya could see that her words had affected the audience. Even some of the aliens looked moved by her testimony. Vex stood up quickly. This is a touching story, but it proves nothing. The girl is obviously lying to cover up her theft. Maya felt anger surge through her. She had been polite and respectful, but she was tired of being called a liar. I am not a thief, Maya said loudly. I have never stolen anything in my life. I found that briefcase and I tried to return it because that's what my grandmother taught me to do. If you think I'm lying, then prove it. We have 3 witnesses, Vex replied smugly. You have 3 liars, Maya shot back. I have never been to your docking bay. I have never seen any of you before today. You're trying to steal Mr. Kane's briefcase because you think a poor girl won't fight back. The audience began to murmur. Maya could see that many people were starting to side with her. Kane stood up beside Maya. Honored arbitrator, I have known Maya Rodriguez for less than a day, but I can tell you she has more integrity than anyone in this room. She could have disappeared with my briefcase and I never would have found her. Instead, she spent her own time trying to return it to me. That tells me everything I need to know about her character. Arbitrator Park raised her hand for silence. I have heard enough testimony. I will now make my decision. Maya held her breath, waiting to hear whether truth and honesty would win over lies and greed. Arbitrator Park stood up slowly, her eyes moving between Maya and the Zephyrian traders. The chamber was so quiet that Maya could hear her own heartbeat. In 30 years of arbitration, Park began, I have learned to recognize truth from lies. The Zephyrian witnesses claim to have seen Maya Rodriguez near their ship, but their stories have small differences that suggest they were planned, not remembered. Vex's face grew darker, but he remained silent. More importantly, Park continued, Maya Rodriguez had every opportunity to disappear with this briefcase. She could have sold it, opened it, or simply kept it. Instead, she actively searched for its owner. This behavior is not consistent with someone who stole the briefcase in the first place. Maya felt relief wash over her like cool water. I rule that the briefcase belongs to Richard Kane, and that Maya Rodriguez acted with complete honesty in returning it. The Zephyrian claim is dismissed. Furthermore, I am filing a formal complaint against the Zephyrian traders for false testimony and attempted theft. The chamber erupted in cheers. Maya saw humans and aliens alike standing up and clapping. Even some of the Centaurians were making their traditional whistling sounds of approval. Vex and his companions left quickly, their dark robes flowing behind them. Maya watched them go, feeling proud that she had stood up to their lies. Kane turned to Maya with a smile. Thank you, he said simply. You saved more than just my briefcase today. What do you mean? Maya asked. You reminded me of something I had forgotten. You reminded me why humans are special. After the hearing, Kane invited Maya to his office on the station's top level. The room was enormous, with windows that looked out at the stars. Maya had never seen anything so beautiful. Maya, Kane said, I want to offer you something. A full scholarship to Terra Nova Engineering Academy, plus a job at my company when you graduate. I'll also make sure your mother gets the best medical care available. Maya stared at him in shock. Terra Nova was the most prestigious engineering school in human space. Students from there became the designers of starships and space stations. "Mr. Kane, I can't accept charity," Maya said carefully. Kane laughed. "This isn't charity. This is an investment. You have something that money can't buy: integrity. I need people like you in my company." Maya thought about her family, about her mother's illness and her brother's future. This offer could change everything for them. "I'll accept the scholarship," Maya said finally, "but I want to earn my place at your company. I don't want special treatment because I returned your briefcase." Kane's respect for Maya grew even stronger. "You'll start at the bottom just like everyone else, but I have a feeling you won't stay there long." 3 months later, Maya was packing her few belongings for the trip to Terra Nova. Her mother's health had improved greatly with the new medicine that Kane's medical plan provided. Carlos was doing well in school and talked constantly about visiting Maya at the academy. The day before Maya left Luna Station, she stopped by the Cosmic Diner one last time. Mr. Chen was training her replacement, a young man who had recently arrived from Earth. "You made us all proud," Mr. Chen told Maya. "The whole station is talking about what you did." Maya had heard the stories too. People said that her actions had inspired others to be more honest. Lost items were being returned more often. Workers were helping each other more. Small acts of kindness were becoming more common throughout the station. "I just did what my grandmother taught me," Maya said. "Your grandmother taught you well," Mr. Chen replied. Maya's story had spread far beyond Luna Station. News reports carried it to Earth and the outer colonies. The Galactic News Network had done a special feature called "The Girl Who Chose Honor." Maya was embarrassed by all the attention, but Kane told her it was important. "People need to see that doing the right thing matters," Kane had explained. "You're showing the galaxy what humans are capable of." At Terra Nova Engineering Academy, Maya worked harder than any other student. She studied late into the night and asked questions in every class. Her professors were impressed by her dedication and her practical knowledge from her years of work. During her second year, Maya designed a new type of communication relay that could work in the deep space between star systems. Her design was so innovative that Kane's company bought the patent and put it into production immediately. "You're going to change how humans explore the galaxy," her professor told her. By her third year, Maya was leading a team of students in developing new technologies for space exploration. Her work came to the attention of the Andromedan Council, a group of advanced alien species that had been watching humanity's progress. The Andromedans sent a delegation to meet with Maya. They were tall, graceful beings with silver skin and large, intelligent eyes. Maya was nervous at first, but the Andromedans were kind and curious. "We have heard of your story," the lead Andromedan said. "We are impressed not just by your technical skills, but by your moral character. This is rare in the galaxy." The Andromedans offered Maya a position in their advanced research program, something they had never offered to a human before. Maya was honored, but she had other plans. "I want to finish my education first," Maya told them. "Then I want to work for Mr. Kane's company. I think I can do more good there." The Andromedan smiled. "This is exactly the kind of wisdom we hoped to find in humanity." After graduation, Maya returned to Kane Dynamics as the youngest department head in the company's history. She used her position to create programs that helped other young people from poor families get education and training. "Everyone deserves a chance," Maya told Kane. "Not everyone will get lucky like I did." Kane agreed and provided funding for Maya's programs. Together, they established schools and training centers throughout human space. Maya's story inspired thousands of young people to pursue careers in science and engineering. 5 years after, finding the briefcase, Maya stood before the Galactic Federation Assembly. She had been chosen to represent humanity in negotiations for full membership in the Federation. "Honored delegates," Maya began, "I stand before you not as someone special, but as an example of what any human can become when they choose to do what is right." She told them about her grandmother's teachings, about the importance of character over wealth, and about humanity's commitment to helping others succeed. "We believe that the strength of any civilization is measured not by what it can take, but by what it chooses to give," Maya said. The assembly voted unanimously to accept humanity as full members of the Federation. Maya watched from the gallery as the human flag was raised alongside those of the other member species. That night, Maya called her family on Earth. Her mother was healthy and happy. Carlos was starting his own engineering studies, inspired by his sister's example. Grandmother would be proud, her mother said. Maya smiled, touching the simple necklace that had belonged to her grandmother. I hope so. I've tried to live the way she taught me. You've done more than that, her mother said. You've shown the whole galaxy what it means to be human. Maya looked out at the stars, thinking about all the young people who would grow up in a galaxy where humans were respected, not for their weapons or their wealth, but for their character. It had all started with a simple decision to return a lost briefcase. Sometimes the smallest acts of integrity can change the entire universe.